All right. Let's segue into the first segment of the podcast, warm-ups. Let's segue into the first segment.
Warm-ups. Unique New York. Unique New York. Red, leather, yellow. Sorry, keep going. Sorry,
Okay.
my bad. I'm doing bits. I'm sorry, I'm in my bits phase.
When are you not in your bits phase?
Yeah, you're right.
One-way ticket to Bit City.
Yeah, baby.
No stops.
Okay, let's segue.
Stops, no connections. Sorry, keep going. You interrupted the bit, Trevor. How dare you?
Welcome to Ick Respective, where we take our silly short films a little too seriously. I'm Trevor.
I'm Ben.
This week we're gonna get a new Ick Respective on the chip scene. So this episode's guest is Sebas, who is in later videos of Icker. How are you doing, Sebas?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you doing?
I'm all right. How are you, Ben?
I'm the third option. I'm good. I know I'm good. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
Actually, I only care how Trevor's doing.
Okay.
Yeah, I figured, but Trevor wanted to make me be included.
Yeah.
I was trying to respect your
I
wishes.
see.
So, Sebas, what is your relationship to Icker?
I mean, you did kind of mention already that I'm in some later videos, and that's a big part of it. I don't remember. What was the first video that I did for you that I got invited into?
From my memory, it's again with Becca. Is that the first one you did with me?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Absolutely. That one was a hoot. That one was a lot of fun to do, honestly. Mostly because Becca and I could not stop breaking.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
I if I'm gonna show behind the scenes to anybody, I usually show that one because y'all are like breaking so much and it's entertaining to watch. Which is funny because it's like
I'm here to be funny.
Funny.
it's funny because it's like a serious film, and then the behind the scenes are goofy.
Gotta fit it in somewhere. Gotta get the goofy in there. You gotta.
Exactly. So again, this week we'll be talking about the chip scene, and we're going to look at it under the word of disappointment. But before we get into that, let's give us a short summary of the major events that happen in this video. Would you be up for the task, Ben?
Oh, as per usual. A big summary of the event is we have a husband and wife the wife is attempting to have a major announcement, only for an instigator to be interrupting her constantly with loud chippity crunches. And we never get to find out what the announcement is.
Good summary. The only behind the scenes I have for this one is this was a school project for Emily, the person who plays Charlene, the wife. She was like, I need to make something for a film class. Trevor, can you help me? And I was like, yeah, but I want to film something Icker. I think I wanted to do something for a film class and then something for me. And she's like, why not do both? And so then we made this. And that is genuinely all I remember from this. Yeah. Okay.
These early episodes, Trevor's like, oh yeah, and then there was this one, and I don't remember anything about it because I memory hold it like a fever dream, and I think I gaslit myself into the production of this, and all the actors are like, yeah, that makes sense. I don't remember anything either.
Everything that happened before I turned 21 is now gone. I deleted the entire drive. All I know is that these exist, and they are, yeah, they exist. Okay, let's segue into the next part of the podcast. This is our warm-up section that changes every time. This week, we're cycling back to MVP of the episode, and we each picked out an MVP that we'll talk about and appreciate. So, Ben, what MVP did you choose? Whether person or item or whatever else?
As much as I wanted to choose the smoke alarm beeps, I did go with a more conventional option. For those of you who are listening, as is everyone who will be, as soon as I said that, Sebas just almost curled up with a laugh. So I know I'm funny to at least
Silly.
someone. I'm going to go with the more conventional option. I think Emily MVP for the episode. I think she sold the irritation so well. And the way she muffled her voice when she had the mouthful of chips, I think was done really well because you couldn't exactly hear what she was saying. And I think that was very, very well done. Because even with the mouthful of food, typically you can understand somebody. So I think that was well done. And I think especially with the bit going on for as long as it did, so with like a 3-minute video, I think she did a very good job of setting the pace and vibes of the irritation one might have through this. Because I'm trying to remember who this guy is in the plot. Not you, Trevor, but our other friend here. I'm trying to remember what his character, like what he's doing there.
Well, his name is
Tyrell. Besides munching on some chips. Tyrone, you said?
Tyrell.
Tyrell. Yeah, that's the thing is I'm like, I don't know. I wrote down relationship unknown. Like, we don't know who this guy is. He's just in their house munching on chips. And also just not Charlene, I think is Emily's character's name. Just choosing to not wait for a private moment. Not even like, oh, hey, let's go. This is talking about the episode. We can cut this out, go later. But just like the fact that, yeah, I'd be pretty pissed if I'm trying to have this important moment with my husband and some dude is just in here chomping on chips.
Every time I rewatch this, I always find it so silly how the setting is obviously a very private home and the implication is that these people don't know each other and I think it's so silly. To also back up on the Emily idea, I think that this is just early evidence that Emily's a very good actress. I always enjoyed working with her and she's able to captivate a scene for a long period of time. And I think that's an awesome feat at probably age 17, I want to say, at this time.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
That's right. This video is like, what did it say? It was 9 years old?
Yep, 9 years old.
That's like the 1990s, right? It's so long ago.
It's ancient.
Yeah, it's like the 1600s.
Sebas, what's your MVP?
Now, my choice of MVP, while I do not disagree with any of your points, Benjamin, you said his name was Tyrell?
Tyrell, yeah.
I said him. In fact, my exact note is the dude crunching on chips. And that one, I guess I was going that direction because that's definitely like he's the source of the comedy of the scene. I mean, I guess there's two areas because like Emily's character, what did you say her name was again?
Charlene.
Like there's the bit of Charlene and Jeffy, and that is funny. And she's constantly getting interrupted. And then the chips is just another layer to it. And it just has that curiosity of like, what's this? Who's this man? What's he doing here? Why is he munching on chips while this incredibly important news is trying to be broken? And then, I don't know. I thought he was silly. I thought it was real silly. Anytime I'd cut to him, just the way he was eating the chips, like bothered me, but in a way that I don't know. It captivated my attention, especially the bit where he eats the chip, where he like twitches and just like mutters to himself a little bit, like it's just so out of pocket.
Fair.
I was having a good time. Yeah,
I love the camp of the whole situation. It's beautiful.
Camp. That's a perfect way to put it.
I forgot that we like cut away and he's just gnawing on it for like ever. It's very early.
So
yeah, I was gonna say
it is very early.
Like, you're having a party for me?
I'm having a party for me, and that's the one thing. It's like Emily's performance can't be as good without his, because for every straight man, you need a goofy guy.
Yeah, real. My MVP of the episode, I wanted to go a little silly on this. I basically just said the TV in the background. I love the ambiance of it. I love the implication that someone's probably in the house as well watching TV as this is going on. I don't know, nothing in depth. I just wanted to choose something stupid, and that was my MVP of the episode.
So is this like a halfway house or something? Or who are all these people?
I have no idea. What, Ben? What comment do you have?
I think that your opinions are both valid, and I am happy that you shared them with us in this space.
No, this is not a safe place, Ben. You have to say what you're going to say.
My
your
apartment
truth.
is a safe space, so I'm glad to let you speak your truth.
The word of the week is disappointment. What does this word
Hmm.
mean to y'all?
Sebas?
Well, I guess at its maybe its most basic, disappointment is like the feeling you get when you expect something, whether that's to receive something or something to happen, and it doesn't, and you're still kind of left wanting. And yeah, you're disappointed. You're not angry. You're disappointed, and that's what that means to me.
To quote The Good Place, Eleanor says, "I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed." And Michael goes, "Come on, everybody knows that's worse."
True.
It is.
True.
It really is.
Yeah.
I had a teacher in high school pull that, and this was a teacher I deeply respected, but the whole class was just being way too rowdy. And then he had to get out his like I'm a dad voice, and it was some of the most like guttural and violent pain I've felt in my soul before. This is
That's
not a man
true.
I wanted to make upset. I did not want to disappoint
Yeah.
him, and yet there we were.
That was my homeroom teacher in high school. He got angry with me exactly once, and I've never felt
Ooh.
not never felt worse, but I felt so deeply ashamed of myself in that moment. So I get that.
So would you say in this context, disappointment kind of comes with a need for approval?
No,
No.
I think disappointment is tying back into what Sebas said. It is the not getting the outcome that you expected / wanted. So something is I wanted the approval of Mr. Oberg, and I didn't get it. I was disappointed in myself. Disappointment doesn't hinge on needing approval, but it does hinge on an expectation. You can't be disappointed without an expectation. And some people couch that being like, oh, well, if I don't expect anything, I can't be disappointed. That's baloney and you're denying human nature. But in order for there to be disappointment, there must have been some form of expectation for, again, like a behavior or an event, an outcome, something.
Like the approval is what the expectation is dressed as.
Precisely.
Nice. Yeah. That's
I guess
like, what were you gonna say, Sebas? I interrupted you.
I was gonna say that in the specific cases of where I was trying to find disappointment in the video, I would say Charlene is there's disappointment there in not getting her point across, and I would also say there could potentially be disappointment in the viewer not getting the information. I personally, I don't, maybe I'm way off base. I thought there was enough context clues to say what the info was, and so like the bit is that like you keep like expecting her to say the thing that you have already put together in your head, and it just doesn't happen, and then you're like the video cuts itself off, and you're just left there wanting. You're left there in a pit of desire, and you just don't know what to do with yourself.
I keep
watch another
getting left
YouTube
in a pit
video,
of
but-
desire.
What, Ben?
I keep getting left in a pit of desire. That's every week, dog. No, and that's the thing is, Sebas, you are not insane. Like, of course, we all know. It's obvious. But I think that's the thing is, and that's the one thing is looking through it through disappointment. As I was like, this is such like an ill-fitting word for what this is, because I would say she's not disappointed. None of our characters are disappointed. It's us as the audience that experiences any disappointment. And I would say it's less disappointment and more like dissatisfaction. It's none of us being like, oh, we're like disappointment's like, oh, like this isn't like live up to it. It's not like an active emotion so much as it is like a settling down. And so, and that's why I'm like, she's exasperated. Everyone else is oblivious. And then as the audience, we're just left unfulfilled. We're like, oh, come on. What do you mean what do you mean it ends right there? She almost said it. We're just like waiting for her to get to the point and to say what we all know she's going to say and to just put it into words. And that's why like there is that disappointment for us as the audience. But I would say it's more of like dissatisfaction. We're like, instead of it's a,
Mhm.
To me, the disappointment, I guess it's not necessarily disappointment, but I see disappointment in fear. I see it as she fears disappointing her spouse. I like that it will be a disappointing announcement, and that's why she hesitates to say. That's where I see disappointment in it personally, but I also see dissatisfaction as well.
hang on one second.
Honestly, if my spouse wasn't like allowing me to get a word in like that, I'd be more angry than disappointed.
I would agree.
I just typed in a thumbs down emoji, Trevor. I disagree with you. I don't get that disappointment from the video. I think it's more of like a, hey, I'm pregnant and you need to step up to deal with this, because I think she's put up with so much of Jeff's like obliviousness that she's like, hey, you're generally an irresponsible person that I have to look after. And now we're going to have a person we both need to look after. So I need you to step up and help me with this. And then we have, and I think it's perfectly showcased by the fact that Tyrell's there at all. The way I read it is that Charlene is not going to be like, oh, this is going to be a disappointing announcement, but is going to be more of a, hey, you need to step up and take responsibility of like, Jeff seems to be a generally irresponsible, oblivious person who, again, it's not just like, oh, what do you want to say? Or, hey, Tyrell, can you stop 2 seconds so she can say what she needs to say? It's just, again, cutting her off constantly, staying on topics that she already said, no, that's not what this is about. She seems irritated, exasperated the whole time because one, she's not being listened to, and two, she's being interrupted all the time. I don't think she's like, oh man, I don't know if Jeff is going to like this. I think it's like, Jeff, listen to me. Tyrell, stop chewing for the love of God for 1 second. Let me talk. And we don't get anything from Jeff because he's just like, oh, I want to make you happy. Like, yeah, you can come to Weight Watchers. There's not going to be any judgment. I can make you lunch right now. Like, I just got some stuff for dinner, but I could, whatever you want. Like, he's supportive and so willing to be there. Like, there's none from him. And Tyrell, there's no disappointment except maybe that the party isn't for him. But he's over here being like, a party for me? It's two just oblivious characters. And you have one person who's just trying to speak their truth, an important life-changing announcement. I don't think there's any disappointment. I think there's just that exasperation of just like, please listen to me. That's why I think it's really on the audience. I don't think there's any from the characters. Not in the way that I typically view it, at least.
Would you say Jeff is a disappointing partner?
I don't think so. Because from Charlene, we don't get any like, oh, I'm being let down by my partner. It's just, oh, he is an irresponsible person who I'm continuing to make the choice of having him in my life of like, I want them, I want them in this conversation. I want to include you in this conversation. I don't think it's disappointing so much as, you ever have a friend who's just like a little oblivious? I want to say slow in the uptake, but just like I have someone I work with who I love dearly, but sometimes I'm just like, did you miss what I just said? What is happening up there? And it's not disappointing. It's more of like, it's almost like dealing with a child or a small animal. It's not disappointing. It's you feel motherly. And I feel like it's a similar thing where it's like, I think there's love between Charlene and Jeff. Because again, Charlene is not like, hey, this is your baby and I'm taking it away to be with someone better. It's like, this is your baby. You need to work with me. And again, this is all fan-in. This is all this is all stuff that is not in the text.
That's the
point. But I think the way that I'm seeing it, with the way I'm reading this scene and these characters, is she's trying to get them to engage in an ongoing relationship.
If anything, I would say Jeff's behavior is disappointing because he's clearly not giving his partner the space to talk. It's the scenario itself is disappointing because they're having this important conversation in a house where there are presumably more than one other person just doing random stuff. There's a whole dude just right next to them, just minding his own business, who is going to be privy to this entire conversation. That's disappointing. Honestly, like, why didn't I'm disappointed that Charlene didn't say, hey, let's go step into the next room and have a serious conversation. Like, she just pulled up and went, hey, so last week, huh? And like just kicks it off from there. Like, there doesn't feel like there's much pretense to the like if I had the ability to carry a child, let's say, and I wanted to tell my partner that I was pregnant, I'm not gonna sit down on a couch next to a guy that I have met once. I think what the line is something like we just met. So like, I'm not gonna sit next to a guy I just met with my partner and talk to him about this. Like, this is like this has to be like an intimate, long conversation, not just bringing up on the fly kind of deal. So if anything, I'm disappointed in Charlene even a little bit for approaching this conversation so haphazardly.
Yeah, I was going to propose that they like somehow knew Tyrell, but then I forgot that he said that last line. I pulled up the script and I forgot that he said, I know we just met.
Yeah.
We're
rewriting the script right now.
It's
last.
It's 9 years old. We can't do much about it.
We could reshoot it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just bring up all the actors. Let's do this. Let's do the last question of the thematic analysis and then go into lore. So, in the context of the word disappointment, what does the text say about the real world?
Okay, what's the note I have on this one? Hold on. I've got to read my notes. Hold on. Let me put my reading glasses on. It feels kind of like everyone in the episode is trying to get a word in, not giving each other the time to speak. We live in a society. That is the note that I wrote down. I think that requires a bit of explaining. But essentially, so like everyone's trying to, like, Charlene's got this important point. Jeff is trying desperately to be like, oh, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this. And then Tyrell just walks up and is just like, hey, what's up? Like, everyone's got a trajectory they're on. And they're all trying to be like the center of attention at one point or another. At least it's kind of the vibe I was getting. And if I'm going to speak as to what this says about the real world, I guess just that people like this are real and behave like that and don't think it's weird. And like, this is just like a behavior practice that is common, like more common, I think, than I don't know. I'm not going to judge strangers, like the world as a whole, as I'm talking about every other person on the planet, because clearly I'm the only person who's got it right. But I don't know, that's the best I could come up with on that answer, dog.
We love a good generalization.
Like maybe if I could maybe like narrow it down a little more. Iker is this felt surprisingly grounded for Iker, and maybe that's just like the amount of Iker I've seen, but Iker is definitely this more like campy, absurd world. And for this episode, I'm witnessing what could 100% be a real interaction between real people. A funny one, absolutely. But like, there's no plush penguin appearing from behind a tree, right? There's no skin being peeled off. Spoilers. This is just a bunch of weirdos being weird. We live in a society.
Yeah.
And that's my closing statement.
Fair.
If I had to put it about the real world under the context of disappointing, I just think that communication is often disappointing. You can't really always get across everything that you want to say all the time. One of a bit of writing advice I got in school with like writing screenplays is that dialogue in a movie is what you wanted to say after an argument. Like, you have an argument with someone and you're like, why didn't I say that 3 days later? That's what dialogue should be in a film. And in this, it's just, it's exaggerated within this context of the chip scene, but it is, like Sebas, I think, is alluding to, it is mirroring the real world and how it's just sometimes having a conversation is hard and nonsensical and disappointing.
I think that's one thing that film/TV/theater and how it's hard to do realistic dialogue is because people don't know what they're going to say. If like anytime you need to learn your lines is you're reading your lines. Okay, what are my intentions? What am I saying when I say this? But in reality, you're just firing, off the dome, and you don't think about what you're saying until you've said it, which is why a lot of the times you need to almost do like take backs for your tone. And you have those things like, oh, why did I say that? What am I doing? Or now I know what to say, because now our brain's catching up and replaying and giving that back to us. So a lot of conversations are strange. And I have had conversations with some people where, yeah, they do interrupt you all the time. And not you. It's not about you. It's not all about you.
I have to make it about
Calm
me.
down.
I'm the main.
Yeah, naturally. let's do another podcast about this one, buddy. Let's talk more about you. It's all right.
Yeah. That's because okay, keep going.
Like one thing that this highlights is like having a child is such a responsibility. Like you are responsible for the most precious thing I think in the world, a human life. And, trying to talk about that, like you do have a lot of expectations of like how it's going to go, as you have your own fears and anxieties, whether you show it or not. And you want things from the person you're telling, especially the partner who helped make the kid, of, okay, I want them to react this way. I want them to, treat it with the seriousness that it deserves, and also assuage my fears that I'm having, and also, make some connections with me about this. And every conversation, does not go the way you want it to, or the way you hope. Like, because communication, there's so much lost between what I'm thinking and what I'm saying, and what I'm saying and what you're hearing and what you hear and what you think. There's so many steps for so much meaning to fall off in that process. And this kind of shows it, where we have Jeff, who loves his partner or loves their partner and wants to do well. And there's trying to be supportive, but is just not connecting with what she needs or wants. And that's leading to this frustration. And you could say there's disappointment there of like, he's disappointed that he's not helping. He wants to help. He's trying to find things. And just in his, urge to help, he's actually making things worse.
Beautiful. Like always, beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're going to segue to the lore implications part of the podcast now. The first question, like always, is without the context of the other Icar videos, what does this one tell us about the world of Icar? Sebas?
Well, I know the last thing I said was this is surprisingly more grounded and realistic compared to other aspects of Icar. I guess if I were to say, though, in terms of just looking at this isolated, what would I think? I mean, I think the absurdism is still there. And although in terms of like deeper lore, I wasn't getting a whole lot. It is also only 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So there's only so much like world building you can do.
It doesn't have to be crazy deep, I don't think. Like what I wrote is this video confirms the existence of Weight Watchers, Star Wars, and Batman. Because Batman's on title.
So true.
Yeah.
So true, bestie. I, for one, I think Icar is better off with Star Wars being canon within it. So that's a plus.
It won't be the last time Icar references Star Wars. I don't know why, but I just really love referencing Star Wars for some reason.
Keep it up. Make some Andor references. I'll be there.
You can bring it to the larger context if you know anything else about Icar. I just include the without the context because it relieves some pressure to people who aren't as familiar.
I mean, it tells me that Icar is I have the thought. I just need to find the words for it. Like maybe it feels almost like a soft like entry into Icar, because it's still absurd. Anything can happen. There's just a dude eating chips and he just appears halfway through this conversation, just like right in Charlene's face. Like they're clearly like our real world, like rules of like societal rules and interaction and stuff aren't quite here, or if they are, they're different. And but it's like it's holding back like the more mystical or the more supernatural aspects of it for later, maybe. Like you're not getting slapped in the face with everything all at once, everything everywhere, all the time.
How about you?
All right, that's copywritten.
Oh,
Yeah, can't say any works that are copyrighted. That's facts.
yeah. So just like never speak again, because all words are copyrighted, obviously.
That's facts. Britney Spears has the copyright in over 13,000 words.
Ben, do you have any additions to what does this tell us about the world of Iker?
Well, one, let it be known that strangers in the Iker world are more than likely going to be friendly at this point. Only thinking of this one, nothing else. Especially not a trilogy where a bunch of strangers get violent. Anyways, but so you have conversations. Characters are oblivious and don't often make sense on the surface. We've kind of seen it before where things don't generally make a lot of sense and people are just kind of talking past each other. This is one of the ones where we have people that are mostly talking to each other. But a lot of the ones, I'm going to dip outside of just this video, but like the ball scene is we have characters that are talking to each other, but they're more like talking at each other. And I think it's a lot that we see in Iker. A lot of the times characters seem to be talking at each other where they are speaking, but it's more of like, I have said my thing instead of talking to the other person. Because I think one of the big differences between talking to and at is talking at does not require you to listen. Talking to requires you to listen. I think a lot of the times Iker characters don't listen. They just speak, which again, I don't think is like an acting thing. I think it's a character thing where characters they have their own thing going on. They're doing their own thing and it just involves them not talking to each other. And you put that inside of this, campy atmosphere, and that leads to this Iker vibe where we have people existing in the same space, not like interacting with each other, which is kind of what Tyrell is. Like Tyrell is someone here who is completely ignoring the ongoing moment where I think even oblivious people would be like, oh, hey, there's something going on. Like you would notice. And the perfectly timed chip crunches, it's the universe giving him comedic timing of when to chomp on chips and when to get over and lean in to do that. But what this tells, and also let it be known that 2 episodes after this, we have the pregnant scene, and there is a man pregnant in that one. Someone gets boy pregnant, but this one we have the semblance of there is a heteronormative pregnancy where the fact that our one woman is allegedly pregnant. What do you have to say? What do you have to say about my heteronormative statement?
Nothing. God, drink your diet.
That's what I thought. I am gonna, as the only man on this podcast, I am gonna drink my Diet Mountain Dew. And I'm gonna be happy about it. Anyways,
I just wanted to say what you're talking about. June, our friend June, likes to talk about with Iker.
It's like a month.
Yeah, and I'm excited to invite them on the podcast because I think we should bring this back up when they're on because they have a whole analysis on communication in Iker that I'm always like, oh, I didn't even think about that.
If they wrote it down, I want to read it.
I don't think they did.
Absolutely. Oh, my day is ruined and my disappointment is immeasurable.
Whoa, teamwork.
All right, we can cut the podcast here.
And that's it. Wrap it up.
Your host, and good night.
Hey. Anyways, but yeah, I think, and that's the thing is this is one of our moments in Iker where people are talking to each other, which is something again that I don't think we often see. Because again, a lot of times people are not talking to each other. We have, we start with Pinguino. And then we have a little bit of people talking to each other, but I feel like, again, that is mostly talking aloud. They're mostly speaking to like the audience. They're kind of talking to each other, but there's this level of like meta awareness that the characters kind of give off. You're like, okay, this isn't to each other. The ball scene, they're definitely not talking. They're talking at each other. The book is a similar thing back to back where they have that meta awareness. The hunt that they are distinctly talking to the camera. They're talking to the audience. They're not like communicating to each other. And one thing I thought of when I was talking about this is one coming up after the third next is Tag. Tag is one where it's always, that one gives me a similar vibe of like talking at each other. I don't know why that one came to mind, but it really did.
I definitely think that one has a bit of miscommunication within.
Mm-hmm.
I think sort of related is
A cousin?
So witty, Ben, so witty. You see this often in literally every single one of these, but this, I think, emphasizes this concept where people are just like in houses it doesn't make a lot of sense why they're there, and the communication aspect of it really reinforces it, because like why are these three individuals in this house, whose house is this? And that is an Icker trope in itself.
I mean, to quote an earlier episode, a dog would be in that house.
A dog would be in that house.
Dog would be in that house.
If you say so.
Okay,
I'm still yucking up at the cousin bit. That was funny. That was really good.
And that was a good joke.
Thank you. I don't care if no one else thinks it's funny. I think it's funny.
Really?
Yeah.
Sebas, what questions does this video raise about the Ickerverse?
Oh boy.
If you can't think of any
questions does this raise? I'm well, like the questions I would ask have been touched on a little bit already, so I'm trying to think of different ones. Because yeah, whose house is this? What's going on? Where are these people? Like, I'm kind of just thrown into a situation that's happening without any context as to why it's happening the way it is. Like it kind of just feels like I've hit the ground running on like what is probably like a mid-season plot of a standard like TV series. And it's fully intentionally, of course. But then, of course, that just naturally, like, I have questions like, who are these people? What's the relationship to Tyrell? And then if I'm talking about Icker as a whole, with this video in particular, I don't know if I have any.
I think
no questions get raised.
I think the obvious question, which we all know the answer to, is like, what is Charlene trying to say? And I
okay, well, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but like, no, I'm not like correcting you or anything, but I'm like, when I think about that question, I'm like, wouldn't it be silly if she was saying something that wasn't obvious? But like, I don't know what that would be. But it would be very Icker to just like lead us in one direction and then go, oh, it's this absurd thing that no other person would think about. I don't know what that is, but that's a question that comes to mind, is like, is she trying to say something that isn't what's obvious?
Maybe. The thing is, I like, as much as I'm like, hey, like it would be something pretty Ickery to, make, like, to have it be something unobvious. I don't think it is. With the way that she keeps rephrasing it to say it like differently, I don't believe it. I think that it is what we think it is. I am open to being incorrect. I think it would be funny. And again, I know it's speculation. It's a question. The question is, though, of like, how does pregnancy work in Icker? Like, we don't ever see like romance. We haven't seen romance. We haven't seen like anything sexual in Icker yet. And that's like never touched on, besides like, if anything, like romance is portrayed in this over the top fashion. And I think Icker's more preoccupied with the like responsibility / fear that comes along with it. But like, how does it work mechanically? Is it like it is in the real world? Or is it more of like a conceptual thing? Is it just like, oh, it's something that happens? Kind of like death. Death just sometimes happens because you can just Icker. So like, I'm pretty sure
conceiving children is pretty normal.
Well, someone gets boy pregnant 2 episodes from now, all right? So I don't think so.
Who says that they're that character is AMAB? Who says that?
I don't know. I thought from my nose that they were AMAB.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure it's you.
Wow,
don't you get pregnant?
Yeah.
I'll kill you. Yeah.
Who says I'm playing an AMAP character?
You always are.
Oh.
You are. You specifically are.
Oh.
Exactly.
You're gonna get.
How is your time to correct us, to tell Ben that he's wrong?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the time. I do not know if every character I play is AMAB. I do not know the answer to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
We can
looking at
You
you.
are the source of the answers.
Yeah. Yeah. Font of knowledge. Tell us now, which episodes are you AFAB in?
I
Tell us. Tell us.
Can we get a running list?
You don't
please?
know because you never thought about it because you're. Anyways, sorry, I'm getting.
You're the problematic one because you didn't think about it.
Facts.
I'm not a
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it. I'm not a Republican, so I'm not thinking about people's genitalia. So
Well, then that raises the questions. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if in Icker everyone's Ken doll. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised in the Ickerverse.
Oh, like that episode of.
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if it was there's no organs down there at all. I wouldn't be surprised.
that's the ideal world. I should make that.
And
canon.
that's the thing. Trevor's like, this is the way I wish the world was, and that's why it's there in early Icker. That's what it's like.
What do you?
That's what
So
it
is
is.
that what Icker means? Is Icker a world without genitals?
Icker, a world without genitals. Rated R starts Friday.
And it's okay if it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Ben is leading me to believe that. This podcast has just been making me go, maybe I'm wrong about everything.
Time to gaslight you about Icker.
Sebas, how do people get pregnant in Icker? Please tell the people.
Really gonna put me on the spot with this one, huh?
Yeah.
How does pregnancy work? Tell us that.
Tell us about the birds.
Well, first off, you will regret this, and this will come up later at a nondescript, undetermined time. But I mean, if we're looking at it in a Ken doll sense, and we know, I mean, is it again because my lore knowledge is a little rusty and faded? Are there higher powers in Icker that could potentially, like, could we get a Anakin Skywalker scenario where some crusty old Sith Lord is just like a Jesus metaphor? Bam.
Yeah,
Immaculate conception.
I can't
Influencing
George
the
Lucas.
midichlorians.
Can you repeat that, Ben?
George Lucas is a wonderful man. All right. Okay.
Exactly. You just called him a Sith Lord.
I can't believe.
Anyways,
I plead the fifth.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you implying that Charlene is Mary, the Virgin?
No.
Ooh, I
No.
wasn't, but now I am.
Oh. No, let it be known.
Clearly,
Dude,
am
not
the
to bring up
resident
Tag again.
expert.
What? Not to bring.
Yeah, as a resident Catholic, I declare you all blasphemers, and you need to go to reconciliation.
Well, I cast blasphemous act, so now.
Heroic intervention. Anyway, sorry, Magic the Gathering. Don't worry about it, Trevor. It'll be in more Icker projects. Trevor's like,
I don't actually how pregnancy works.
Act, the most well-known red board
You
wipe.
just-
I also don't know about heroic intervention, the most well-known board protection spell in green. It costs
$20 because even though it has 8 printings, everyone and Mothers runs in their decks.
And that's when everyone clicks off.
I think where babies come from in Icker is two people who are or maybe are not in love with each other play a game of Magic the Gathering, and whoever loses is the one who becomes pregnant.
Are you
me trying to have a baby, so I intentionally keep a 7-lander.
Are you implying that pregnancy is a bad thing?
No, you can scoop at any time.
Well, a win or a loss is not indicative to good and bad. It is just a game, and it has a winner and a loser. That's how it works.
Write that down.
So, it's actually, this is on you for assuming that losing is bad, because to play a game, there must be a loser. And to have fun and play a game, you still must have losers. And those losers must still have fun.
But not all. Okay, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't have any hopes. I'm in the wrong. I will go sit in the shame corner.
No, go sit in reconciliation. That's the shame corner.
Well,
Sorry.
this discussion is making me think. Another question to ask is, who is this child? Like, does this child come up in later Icker? Like, it's been 9 years. This is a child at this point. Like,
Ticker time doesn't work.
I mean,
unless
I don't
you
know.
start
Do they?
time.
I don't know.
We can bring this up
Get
later.
waiting, man.
Like,
Yes, they do.
15 to 20 episodes from now, and be like, oh, I wonder if this is Charlene and Jeff's baby.
Yeah, I'm trying to approach this as like a quasi, like this is someone's first time watching it, but also like, what do I like spoil if I spoil it?
Well, do Jeff and Charlene turn back up at some point?
Charlene does turn up at a different point in
Oh,
the series. Yes.
I didn't know that. I gotta look that up.
Okay.
In a
I
way,
guess that would be the first place to look if there's a kid involved. But I suppose if there isn't, then I don't know.
she shows up in a way that you wouldn't expect. To be completely transparent, I don't know if this kid appears again. And I also don't know how like growing up works in the Icarverse. Like, does it work the normal way, or not the normal way in our universe?
Wouldn't be surprised if people just they exist off screen as babies and toddlers and children, and then the only time that people exist is as adults. They exist conceptually as children and babies and whatnot. I think people exist in Icar as concepts or as metaphors or as plot devices until they reach a certain age, at which point they get a physical form and become people.
I think people exist in Icar when they are called upon. So the characters we see only truly exist in the episodes we see. Outside of that, they are figments. So there is no growing up. This child is written into this episode as an unborn fetus. The next time they turn up, let's say that they're a 24-year-old gas station employee, and everything that's in between that doesn't exist. They exist at the convenience of the gods. Maybe.
That's a crazy take.
Not to kind of that ties into an earlier bit we were talking about with the ball scene. But two, one of the things I wanted to bring up earlier was we talking about like how could babies exist with higher, are there any higher powers? Is the tag scene references the Olympians, famously mortal impregnating people. And that's something where like, wow,
like
man,
I
forgot where that,
like the Greek gods.
Yeah, the Greek. Well, allegedly, they just say the Olympians. But yeah, I also wouldn't be surprised if people in Icar only exist for the meta narrative or for the narrative, like where everyone exists conceptually on, say, a dark stage with green lighting until they are needed for a story or a vignette, at which point they come forth in whatever forms that is they need for the story. Like someone who exists in the Icarverse is Pyrocannon, who like has a backstory and has memories and has, grown up, but also he only exists within the narrative and also on a paper in my bedroom.
Yeah, to inform both Sebas and the audience, Pyrocannon is a superhero within the Icarverse that has never canonically appeared in a video.
Yep. And never
I know
will.
who Pyrocannon is.
Yeah.
Oh, you do because you've listened to that. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sebas is a well-educated reader.
Yeah. Sebas knows the Icarverse.
In this case, a listener.
What is listening if not reading with the ears?
Well, that's a road I'm not going to go down, but I do think there's a different answer for that.
So do you notice any parallels to real life stories, mythological, historical, or otherwise within the chip scene?
I have seen chips at the grocery store, so I would say that's a similarity. But chips do exist both in Icar and in the real world, and I think that's pretty wild.
Yeah, the myth of a guy I once knew named Joe. He was a trader and he sold organic products.
Shut up.
Okay.
Sorry.
Now it's your turn for the corner of reconciliation.
You're right. Besides paralleling conversations that have definitely happened in real life, I think like this bit has existed across comedy since comedy was invented, of like someone trying to talk and then getting interrupted and then talking and then getting interrupted. That's an ongoing trope that we see, like not constantly, but we see it a lot. It's very common.
It happens.
Yeah, it comes up.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm reminded of an SNL skit. I think that Pedro Pascal is on, where someone is like fiendishly cutting into a steak and it's shaking the entire table while they're trying to have a conversation. It's actually kind of funny. It's one of the better episodes of SNL.
So that sounds like a great bit.
In the context of the film, what do you think happens before this? What was happening before? Because I genuinely have that question. And then what do you think happens immediately after? I say that I have that question because I never really thought about it, but the top of the film starts with both of them very distressed. And I'm like, why are they distressed? Like, what is going on prior to this?
Well, there's two separate moments. Well, I mean, it's in the same sense. Like, I mean, it's one right after another, but both of the main characters reference the past. Jeff saying, "Is this about last night?" and Charlene talking about last week, which I'm assuming I guess maybe to actually answer the question, my assumption, at least on behalf of Charlene, is that she's referencing maybe like purchasing and using a pregnancy test a week ago and is just like now telling them. Whereas what happened last night that they're distressed about, I mean, it could have been like a pretty like regular run of the mill like argument or kerfuffle between a married couple. Maybe it's a conversation about this weird dude who keeps hanging out around the house.
You can
Maybe there was
something silly if you want.
I can?
Yeah.
Really?
What do you think happened before this, and what do you think happened after?
Maybe. Okay, hold on. So there's the bit where they were talking about like Jeff is like, my dad and I can watch Star Wars by ourselves. You don't have to. Like, did they try to? Were they like just really, really trying to get her to like watch Star Wars and be interested in it? And she's just like, nah, I don't know. This isn't quite my thing. And they're like, no, I swear. Like, it seems like Jeff is a pretty insistent guy. So I imagine he's probably very like, no, come on. It's great. These movies are awesome. You got to watch these ones in this order and this and that. And then she's like, I don't care. I don't want to watch Star Wars with your dad. All right.
It's with her dad.
Her dad?
Yeah, it's her dad.
Yeah.
Well, that point aside, somebody doesn't want to watch Star Wars. All right. And maybe they got forced to. Way to dismantle my entire point.
Sorry, it was built on a shaky foundation.
I love it. I love the read that Jeff is a dweeb. What happened after?
Like after the episode?
Yeah, what happens immediately after?
Charlie storms off with that bag of chips and then powers through it. Tyrell has to figure out that there is not, in fact, a party being held for him. He's probably not going to take that very well. Mm-hmm. And I think Jeff is going to be left wondering what did he do something wrong? I should say I am assuming Jeff's pronouns. I apologize. What pronouns does Jeff use?
I think he.
Trevor doesn't know if they're going to make it up.
Yeah, I think he, him. I would assume he, him.
He, him?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Thank you for choosing the option that does not shine me in a poor light. Maybe maybe Tyrell snaps. Maybe he's like, there isn't a party being held for me. Plus, she took my chips. Oh, and then just like goes buck wild or something, tearing up this house that may or may not be his. Maybe Pinguino shows up. Maybe I show up. Maybe I've been here the whole time.
Maybe you're pregnant.
I mean, I did earlier mention that I was not of the capacity to do so, but you don't know. Maybe I just don't know enough about my own body. I have to take other people's advice.
Yeah, you don't know what character you're playing right now. You don't know what God.
My body, not my choice.
Yeah. Oh.
Part. No.
Ben, what do you think happened?
Film a sequel, though. I'll be there. If you film a sequel, I'll be there.
Yeah, we'll do a sequel to it.
I'm the kid.
You're the child, all grown up. Now you're the one making salsa out of those chips. Nachos. You're making nachos out of those chips.
Whoa.
Anyway, boy, pregnant I am. So, what I think happens beforehand is, I don't know if you're going to keep that in. What I think happens, that's another good cold open bit. But I agree that I do believe that this is probably Charlene is probably like, hey, Jeff, we need to talk. Meet me, in the living room. We got to talk this out. See, I don't think Tyrell has been in their house before. I think we see him walk into frame, pick up the chips, sit down and start eating. While he looks like he belongs there, when he says like, hey, I know we just met, I think that he just met her. I think this is them in the room for the first time. But I think that this is something that goes on with Jeff a lot, where he's just too airheaded. He's like, oh, hey, my wife wants to talk to me. Oh, that's cool. I can have her meet my friend that I met and brought into the house at the same time. And she's like, okay, this is another one of Jeff's schemes. That makes it seem like there's a lot of thought happening. This is another one of Jeff's antics, but I got to get through this. And that way we can deal with this later, but I need to. This is my focus right now. I do agree that there's probably a pregnancy test that happened, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jeff just met Tyrell at the grocery store, because Jeff mentions buying potatoes for dinner, just potatoes, nothing else. And yet, what I believe Tyrell's munching on is tortilla chips. Anyways, there's something we thought.
I mean, are they corn tortilla chips though?
So I think that Jeff just came back from the grocery store with Tyrell as like, oh my God, we made some sort of connection. Come meet my lovely wife. And lovely wife, Charlene, meanwhile, is like, oh, I just had this pregnancy test. And also, I would be surprised if last weekend was them making the baby and that this is all just way too early. And she could also just not even be pregnant. She mentions like gaining weight, but also like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a normal weight fluctuation and she's taken a pregnancy test way too early. And she's also a little airheaded in that regard. And they mention again with like the Star Wars thing of like, oh, hey, like Jeff's still in the I need to make her family like me. I wouldn't be surprised if the dad is like, I like Star Wars a lot and I need the family to watch Star Wars. And Jeff is like, hey, that's fine. I'll just watch it with him. I'll cover for you. That's fine. Because again, Jeff feels like this very supportive, albeit stupid guy. Because I don't think it's Jeff's need to watch Star Wars. I think the dad really needs to watch Star Wars for whatever reason. Afterwards,
maybe the dad's in Star Wars.
The dad's in Star. He's Wedge Antilles. Let that be known. I don't know who played Wedge Antilles, but he's Wedge Antilles.
He's related to Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor is not Wedge Antilles.
No, he's related to him. I think he's like his uncle.
Yeah, he's his nephew. Wedge Antilles is Ewan McGregor's uncle, which is. Anyways, you were saying that. I think afterwards, as she dropped that bombshell, right? I am pregnant. There is a human life growing inside of me conceptually that will exist as a metaphor until they hit the ripe old age of being able to be filmed. And I think there's this jaw-dropping moment where Jeff is like, how did that happen? Tyrell goes like, is my party a baby shower?
Whoa, the baby.
Is Tyrell the baby? I think Tyrell would run with that where he's like, wait, I'm your baby? Because I feel like him and Jeff are similar strains of stupid where they just, again, they're just go with the flow, generally supportive, absolutely nothing going on in their heads.
They're kind of like early AI where it can't remember 2 lines ago and is just immediately reacting to what was just said.
What's just happening. Yeah, like they have nothing going on. And so I think that, there's probably a bigger blow up that happens at Tyrell because like already Charlene's munching chips at him and it's like, I'm mad at you. I think there's going to be some sort of confrontation where she is going to try and kick Tyrell out of the house. And Jeff is like, oh, no, but this is my friend. I want him to meet you because you guys both like whatever. You guys both like knitting. And Charlene's like, I haven't knitted since I was like 12. I don't know. I feel like they're older than their physical age in these. The characters are older, at least IMO. But like I haven't knit in a bajillion years. And then Tyrell's like, oh, you said knitting? I thought you said kneading because I like to make bread. And it's this whole scenario. Slapstick chase scene goes on where Charlene's chasing them through the house. They're all running through different doors. Natural thing. And then the dad comes over and turns out the dad is friends with Tyrell's dad and he brings over Tyrell's dad. And now Charlene's trying to tell her dad, hey, I'm pregnant. And Tyrell's dad is now loudly eating the potatoes that were made for dinner, probably into potato chips before all the boys go to watch Star Wars together while Charlene is desperately trying to figure out what to do with all these idiots in her life.
You wrote a novel. Oh my God, Ben.
It's a novella.
Okay. Sorry.
You're a writer. You should know this.
I do. I was gonna approach the question very.
Jot that down.
I was gonna approach the question very similarly to how I approached the ball question when we talked about this with the ball. I think when
Sorry, I just thought of something very funny. I'm not going to share on a recorded podcast.
I think when Tyrell says, "I know we just met," I think it was like recently. And I think the three of them are in a relationship, and that's why Tyrell is there. And
Oh shoot, it's a polycule.
yeah, and the reason we just met can mean like literally a week ago. Like there's no reason it has to be just then. And the reason why Tyrell is there is because Charlene invited him because he's part of the polycule. But it was, if in this context,
Oh,
this
what
reading,
if it's Tyrell's kid?
the drama. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
she's like, that's why all three are there, because she's got to tell her husband, who they just invited this third into their now newly formed polycule. And she's like, hey, okay, so I'm actually having a child with this guy, not you. This guy's munching on chips.
I like this. This is my new headcanon. This is what happened. That's
I like that.
Headcanon, it's yours. It's just canon.
Yeah, but Trevor's too anxious to declare something as canon.
Yeah, what if I decide to retcon it later on? Like, I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want to name anything as canon.
Live with your mistakes. Gosh darn it.
It's not in the text. It's not in the text, so it is technically not canon.
The sacred text.
The sacred text.
That's actually an Icar scene. The sacred text scene. That's a thing. Anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was referencing. Definitely not Star Wars.
Definitely not. I don't even know who that is.
Anyway, that's what happens afterwards. He reveals that.
What if when they said we can watch Star Wars is a name for like a dog or something?
What?
This is my dog, Star Wars. Don't worry. We can just
Your
watch it.
Your dog is named Star Wars?
Yeah.
Why would
I just
you
got
name your dog
Star
Star Wars and not like a name from Star Wars?
Because then you can say that if you're dog sitting, you say you're watching Star Wars.
I'm gonna go back to what I was saying.
I'll name him Revenge of the Sith. That's his surname.
There you go.
I think after the camera fades out, Charlene doesn't say I'm pregnant. She says I'm pregnant with Tyrell's baby. That's what I think happens. That's my theory. A game theory.
You better credit me on that one.
Okay.
Actually, I think the next episode is the one we get the first writer credit on. Is it the next one?
The next
I think
one?
it is the next one. I think he's watching. No, he's watching is the first one they have bloopers.
Yeah.
I think is Tag the one with the first writer's credit?
No,
it's coming up though.
I think it's pregnant, because pregnant I wrote, unfortunately.
Is it pregnant? Yeah, it is. Pregnant is the first video with a writing credit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. To me, it reads like they're, especially because Tyrell is almost never in the same shot. He feels very much like an outsider, like he isn't supposed to be there. And I do agree that, like, hey, we just met. You could have known each other for a while. And yet, like, oh, this person's known, like Charlene's known Jeff for years and she's only known me for months. Could be, hey, I know we just met. I feel like, I don't know. I don't agree with the polycule read, but I think it's the most fun way to look at it. I think that would be a very fun twist, is that it is Tyrell's baby.
Maybe there's not even a polycule involved. It's
Maybe
just adultery.
Yeah, I was going to say a word that I shouldn't. So I'm glad you said that.
Well, I think this will be helpful down the line. Lore implications. Chronologically speaking, the next video is called Card Scene. Keep that noted, Ben. That will matter when we talk about it in the future.
All right, hang on. Let me pull up the Google Doc back up. I thought I just shuffled it back in my tabs. I didn't think I actually closed it. My bad. All right. Takes place chronologically just before. I'll just say Card Scene chronologically next.
Yeah. And then also Jeff in this video is the same Jeff from The Hunt.
This is the cameraman?
Yeah, this is the cameraman.
Uh-oh. It's all come together.
Yeah, this is, I think this is the first.
Jeff's a film major.
I think this is the first Icar connection in the
Yeah.
I don't know if we've had anything earlier than that.
I don't think so. I'm looking into the other ones. Yeah, I did not know Jeff Holloway is our boy.
Yeah.
I'm writing this down. Hang on. Sorry. I'm not yapping because I'm writing. Yeah, because we don't have any other videos, I think, yet where people or where there's any references between like shared characters or settings or anything. Besides the house being the same house, but that's not brought up.
Yeah, that doesn't count. Before we do the closing section, Sebas, is there any spare Sebas, is there any stray thoughts that you have about this video or Iker at large?
I'm honestly still thinking about like the fact that there's this pregnancy that goes, I guess, unseen for the rest of Iker. And I'm really just thinking about that. Like, where's this kid? What are they up to? What are they doing with their life? Huh? Maybe what?
I'm writing this down. Maybe I will either investigate if it does get brought up and I'm forgetting, or I should bring it up in the future. I think this would be a fun plotline. You want to play the kid, you say, Seabass?
If scheduling lines up.
If scheduling, yeah.
Yeah, you got 9 months, buddy.
Yeah, I was just conceived, okay? Can you just be patient?
Yeah, we'll have it so that it'll just be some random film and you'll turn to the camera and go, "I'm the baby from the chip scene," and then continue with what you were doing. That's how we will.
That's my only line. I just turn to the camera and go, "I'm the baby from the chip scene," and then just hard cut.
You might know,
or
you
I
might
say,
know
"I'm the and then it cuts. I don't finish the sentence, just like the chip scene didn't get to finish the sentence.
All you have to say is, "I'm Baby Holloway," and leave the audience to not know what that means because they don't have access to these characters' last names.
Exactly.
That's it. Just says, "I'm baby."
I'm baby.
Sebas just wears a shirt that says, "I'm baby."
The future.
I would.
Wait. Reese, in the second or third volume of shorts, does play a baby. It's called Babysitting, and he plays a baby. What if that's
the baby?
Yeah.
I'm the baby.
Dang, did I just get demoted from not being able to play the baby?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Live.
Maybe it's twins. Stinky.
Yeah.
You think of that? Whoa.
Star Wars reference.
Okay. Whenever we get to the video of Sebas turning to the camera and saying, "I'm Holloway," the respective podcast will go crazy with theories. It'll be enough.
Yeah, our two audience members, once they start getting published.
Let's transition to the last segment, which is the guest sums up this episode in one sentence. Can you do it, Sebas?
Oh, I don't know.
You got it.
I think I can. I guess the log line I wrote was, "A woman painfully attempts to tell her husband something of great significance over the sound of crunching chips."
Beautiful. That's beautiful. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Ick Massive thanks to our guest today, Sebas, and as always, to my co-host, Ben. The music you heard in this episode was composed by Cameron Carter. Thank you, Cam, for your extraordinary work. Our cover art was designed by Megan Bain. Thank you, Megan, for being an awesome artist. Thank you to all who engage in Icker and help with the creation of it. Most importantly, thank you to our past and present patrons, one of which joins me every episode, Ben, as well as Reese Brock, Candy Prector, Noah Seam, and Rin Anderson. Your support is everything, and I mean everything. To our audience, thank you for listening. Remember to subscribe to Ickerate Films on YouTube and Patreon and wherever else we choose to post. Also, consider leaving a review for this podcast. How'd we do? What would you like to see more or less of? Every review helps with engagement. Thank you in advance. We'll be back soon with another episode where we'll talk about He's Watching scene under the lens of hierarchy. Until then, remember to eat, to drink, and to ask a responsible adult if they're mad at you. Bye!
Sebas, that does remind me of the last one that we did, last week's episode, where there is definitely not a line flubbing with the I've eaten in the last 2 days, where I definitely did not hear a not in there.
I feel like Sebas deserves a little bit more context as to what you're saying.
Okay, so there In the hunt
chilling.
scene, the general option is that we have two characters hunting some animals. And in order to present some sort of hardship, one of them is supposed to say, presumably supposed to say, I haven't eaten in the last 2 days. But what they say is, I've eaten in the last 2 days, which I think, since we're supposed to be reading everything intentionally, I think it's funny and adds to it. It adds to the spectacle of the episode, one might say. And yet, me dying on my hilltop alone, surrounded on all sides, I was told that you can probably hear a knot in there.
Jake and I,
Liberal propaganda.
I'm keeping that in.
That's our cold open.
Jake and I both were like, she definitely says I haven't. She doesn't emphasize the T. She goes, I haven't. There, it's there.
Listen to yourself, people. It's not on the tapes.
No, don't.
She never says it.
Don't reference that.
They're lying to you. Do your own research, people. They're lying to you. The lamestream media.
I feel like a member of the jury right
Hyman
now.
Preacher coming lying to you.
Okay, Ben, what were you saying? Why were you bringing this back? What was the relevance of this?
Oh, man, I don't know what we're talking about.
I don't know.
Man, we got off track.
Building off of what I had said, and then something about the line of the we've only just met, something like that's the part of the conversation was, I think.
Something like that. I think it was based on I can't remember. We've like swerved to hit miss a rock, and I just floored it off the trail. I don't know where we went with that.
Not the first.
I know where we went. I don't know where we came from.
We're
I
in
have
the
forgotten
woods.
my day ones. I don't know.
We're in the woods.
We're in the woods.